do you think the Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight plays out?
I don't know. I want to make sure. I believe it once I see him in the ring.
If Paul starts his boxing career earlier, could Jake Paul have been a champion?
There's a possibility.
Um euch wissen zu lassen, dass ich bereit für einen Rückkampf bin. Sobald es mir besser geht, wenn mein zweiter Kiefer bricht, ist das in Ordnung. Vorerst kein Weihnachtsmatch-Hühnchen. Anthony Joshua's.
Iron Mike, boxing's most feared warrior, has finally spoken out, and his statements are creating massive waves throughout the combat sports community. Following Anthony Joshua's devastating finish of the internet sensation in Miami, Tyson's initial response has done more than turn heads. It has fundamentally altered our understanding of where his allegiances actually lie. For days, speculation mounted that the heavyweight legend was orchestrating some elaborate chess match from the shadows, coaching Joshua while everyone wondered about his true motivations. Now the reality has emerged. This goes beyond a typical fighter's commentary. It's a disclosure that transforms how we view the celebrity boxing phenomenon. When you discover what Tyson first said after witnessing Jake Paul's downfall, you'll understand that the champion's real agenda was far from obvious.
You know what I remember? Coming back from the first round, and then the next day I remember Jake is doing some kind of, I don't know, what was he doing at the ring?
Oh, yeah, a little bow at the end. He bowed.
And that's the last thing I remember. You know, but the day after the fight, right after the day after, I woke up, I told my wife, why did I do that? You know, I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on.
The atmosphere at the Kaseya Center reached unprecedented levels, driven by genuine intrigue and an eerie anticipation of the content creator's potential downfall. Everyone read the pre-fight coverage before December 19th, but the events in those crucial pre-fight minutes were bone-chilling. Mike Tyson, serving as Joshua's guide, had been instilling one savage mindset into the former champion's consciousness. He didn't advise technical boxing, and he didn't suggest defensive caution. His guidance was primal, vicious, and pulled directly from his own destructive prime years. He instructed Joshua to tear through Paul with relentless aggression despite exhaustion, concluding with a terrifying directive: destroy him before he destroys you. This survival instinct seemed to unlock a Joshua we hadn't witnessed in recent memory.
Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's two things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on. What I could have done better is a lot of things, 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years. And the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best, and I take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me, and Jake did. And secondly, even when he got knocked down, he kept on trying to get up, and I take my hat off to him. So America, I think you have someone who could potentially, if he still has the heart for it, come back again, dust the dirt off his shoulder, and come again and maybe sell out this center sometime in 2026, maybe against a Gervonta Davis, a Ryan Garcia.
However, this is where events shift into genuinely shocking territory. Moments before Jake Paul began his ring entrance, a journey that observers now question he should have attempted, the dressing room entrance opened to reveal Mike Tyson. This wasn't another strategy session with AJ. This was an unexpected confrontation with the fighter he was meant to oppose. His opening remarks to Jake Paul in that pressure-filled setting lacked the venom he'd shared with Joshua. Rather, he made direct eye contact and discussed the essence of championship mentality. He explained that despite the enormous risk, only individuals willing to pursue excellence ever reach it. He emphasized that those who avoid taking chances remain forever mediocre. At that instant, Tyson transcended being just the victor's advisor. He became an observer of the problem child's impending devastation. Jake Paul is clearly...
He's beautiful. My family loves Jake Paul.
Could you fuck him up?
Oh, I'm so fucking easy. I would never. I mean, it's my own fucking family. Everybody loves this little white motherfucker. When you see a white boy with balls, you know, fuck. I'm talking about from real, but like...
Once the opening bell sounded, the size disparity became unmistakable. Joshua entered 30 pounds heavier, resembling an absolute giant next to the fighter who had previously defeated a much slower, older Tyson. Throughout 5 rounds, Jake Paul executed a defensive strategy, searching for the same opportunities he'd exploited against retired champions and mixed martial artists. However, the savage and relentless approach Tyson had embedded in AJ was proving devastatingly effective. Joshua wasn't simply landing strikes, he was stalking prey. During the 5th round, the tide had completely turned, with Paul meeting the canvas on 2 occasions. The Miami audience, initially expressing their displeasure loudly, suddenly fell quiet as understanding dawned. This wasn't competitive sport. This was systematic destruction.
Oh, God. I think the gig is up. I'm just tired of Jake Paul as a boxer. I think he's done a fantastic job. He dressed up like Hulk Hogan. I just don't know how many more times Netflix is going to go to bat for him. But I think they will one more time because, you know, the axiom is basically if you draw money, you're going to be getting chance after chance until you're not drawing money. And then you'll still get a couple more chances after that because he did draw money. And that's kind of where he's at right now. You know, he's going to draw with Tyson. He's going to draw on this one. And so he's going to get a couple of more chances, you know, with Netflix. And they'll pay that, you know, good for him. They'll pay that money. But, man, these are, you know, this was just a bad fight. And made boxing look bad. Made boxing look bad in many ways. You know, especially it just was a circus. And the guy, you know, going for takedowns and the ref's not doing anything. I thought the ref was terrible. Thought Joshua, you know, was not good. Hurt himself, and then he even admitted it. And Jake was just out there not trying to win a boxing match. He was trying to survive and get the moral victory so he can go out there and be, you know, oh, you know, I lasted 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua. And he survived 6 rounds with him.
He survived all right.
But he never surrendered like someone else I'm familiar with. The conclusion came in round 6 with an intensity nobody anticipated. Anthony Joshua connected with a right cross, so catastrophic that it didn't merely finish the contest. It hospitalized Jake Paul with what appeared to be a fractured jaw. The problem child had encountered an actual problem, and the consequences were absolutely pandemonium. While medical personnel intervened, cameras focused on Tyson, who observed his student's handiwork with quiet satisfaction. His post-bout response demonstrated remarkable nuance. He praised Paul's durability, recognizing that the young man had endured longer than most predicted, but his commentary continued. Almost instantly, Tyson's thoughts turned to future possibilities, and his next statement has the boxing community completely captivated.
Very easy question to answer, very easy question to ask off the top. And I'll ask you the same one that I asked AJ. What did you make of that fight? What are your impressions of that fight?
I mean, I thought it was much better than I thought it would be. I mean, I know that people are going to say, well, Jake was running and Jake was hold. But listen, I mean, at the end of the day, Jake had one job, and that was to try and survive. I mean, he was never, ever going to win the fight, ever. And if you would have said to me, do I think he'll go 6 rounds? I would have said absolutely not. I mean, I felt that it would take AJ a couple of rounds to get hold of him, because I knew Jake can move a bit, and he'd be moving off the back foot, and he'd be holding. But it was the way that he did it, I think, was actually quite impressive. Like, not that particular part, but the way that he would, you know, the way that he was strong in the clinch. You know, he wouldn't let AJ get his shots off in the clinch. He made him miss a few times. And obviously, AJ's been out of the ring for a while. But to be honest, I think the most fascinating thing of the whole night in terms of the fight was how he didn't get flatlined by that right hand. I mean, I said going into the fight, it's probably going to take AJ a few rounds to get hold of him. And I also said, as soon as he lands clean, the fight's over, right? He landed a few before, but the first that he landed really clean was the final shot. But, you know, he never flatlined Jake. I mean, he did break his jaw in 2 places, which is a disaster. But there are a lot of heavyweights that would have been out cold from that right hand. I mean, one of them was Francis Ngannou in a pretty similar shot, really. Do you know what I mean? So I actually give Jake unbelievable credit for doing it in the first place, but his performance as well. I mean, I stand by the fact that I think he's just a decent cruiserweight, but like he did go in with Anthony Joshua, and look, the world is full of criticism and opinions and negativity. Who else is doing what he's doing at what is he, late 20s? I mean, quite phenomenal. I mean, the guy's a complete madman. I'm watching him come out to that ring walk, and he's just an incredible entertainer. And I'm sort of standing in the ring going, is he for real? And he did all right. I mean, I know people will talk about the holding, but his job was to survive, and he survived for...
Through nearly 6 full rounds, one might assume that witnessing a fighter's jaw destroyed would conclude this feud permanently. But Iron Mike operates on different principles in his initial official post-fight statements. Tyson announced his complete willingness for a Jake Paul rematch in...
I'm just hoping after this Floyd fight, maybe we can have a rematch. He did well, but I want to try it again.
Is that something that you would be interested in terms of righting the wrong? And
Remember, Tyson is nearing 60 and has a major exhibition against Floyd Mayweather this spring, yet he insists that his experience coaching AJ has shown him superior preparation methods. He acknowledged that during his initial bout with Jake, he overtrained and peaked too early in camp. Now, having watched AJ perfectly implement his strategy, Tyson appears confident he can return and complete his unfinished business. It's a decision that seems simultaneously iconic and recklessly bold, making fans question whether the influencer boxing circus will ever truly conclude.
After I beat Mike Tyson, the amount of people saying this is rigged was crazy. They like showed this clip of Mike Tyson going to swing at me with a left hook, and he like stopped doing it, but saw I had my right hand up. So he would have like swung like this, I catch it and shoot. He's leaning forward like I could have knocked him out. So that's why he stopped throwing it. And it's like they play this one clip and it has literally 50 million views on TikTok, but the average person doesn't understand boxing.
The social media explosion created an entirely separate spectacle. Anthony Joshua held nothing back, posting on X with an image of his finishing shot and the ruthless caption "Netflix and chill" plus a throat-cutting emoji. The content exploded across platforms, generating millions of views almost instantly. Meanwhile, Britain's most controversial figure, Tyson Fury, chose to comment, labeling Joshua's violent rhetoric as inappropriate. This angered AJ, who used his victory speech to challenge the Gypsy King directly, potentially creating the most significant heavyweight showdown in UK boxing history. KSI also participated, sharing a response video that ridiculed Paul's loss, adding more fuel to a scene that feeds on intense conflicts and public disputes.
And if Tyson Fury is as serious as he thinks he is, and he wants to put down his Twitter fingers and put on some gloves and come and fight one of the realest fighters out there that will take on any challenge, step in the ring with me next if you're a real bad boy. Don't do all that talking, AJ this, AJ that. Let's see you in the ring and talk with your fists. Is that good for you?
that is good, but
Currently, both Joshua and Paul are under indefinite medical suspensions following the fight's severity, which follows standard protocol after such devastating knockouts. However, the questions remaining are far more significant than temporary restrictions. Was Tyson's guidance his method of indirect retaliation for his own defeat to Paul? Did he deliberately shape Joshua into a destroyer to demonstrate that traditional boxing still dominates? And crucially, is society prepared to witness a 59-year-old Mike Tyson face someone who recently suffered a broken jaw from a prime heavyweight? The controversy surrounding these initial statements confirms that in contemporary boxing, ring action represents only part of the narrative. The true competition occurs through secrets, backstage encounters, and strategic revelations that maintain our attention.
Very easy question to answer, very easy question to ask off the top. And I'll ask you the same one that I asked AJ. What did you make of that fight? What are your impressions of that fight?
I mean, I thought it was much better than I thought it would be. I mean, I know that people are going to say, well, Jake was running and Jake was hold, but listen, I mean, at the end of the day, Jake had one job, and that was to try and survive. I mean, he was never, ever going to win the fight, ever, ever. And if you would have said to me, do I think he'll go 6 rounds? I would have said absolutely not. I mean, I felt that it would take AJ a couple of rounds to get hold of him, because I knew Jake can move a bit and he'd be moving off the back foot and he'd be holding. But it was the way that he did it, I think, was actually quite impressive. Like, not that particular part, but the way that he would, you know, the way that he was strong in the clinch. You know, he wouldn't let AJ get his shots off in the clinch. He made him miss a few times. And obviously AJ's been out of the ring for a while. But to be honest, I think the most fascinating thing of the whole night in terms of the fight was how he didn't get flatlined by that right hand. I mean, I said going into the fight, it's probably going to take AJ a few rounds to get hold of him. And I also said, as soon as he lands clean, the fight's over, right? He landed a few before, but the first that he landed really clean was the final shot. But, you know, he never flatlined Jake. I mean, he did break his jaw in 2 places, which is a disaster. But there are a lot of heavyweights that would have been out cold from that right hand. I mean, one of them was Francis Ngannou in a pretty similar shot, really. Do you know what I mean? So I actually give Jake unbelievable credit for doing it in the first place, but his performance as well.
Indeed, maintaining that position. While Miami settles down and Jake Paul starts his lengthy rehabilitation, the sport's dynamics have transformed yet again. Anthony Joshua has reestablished himself as a devastating powerhouse. Tyson has rejoined discussions as a possible 2026 main event, and the problem child must rebuild from what seemed like an invincible position. Tyson's encouragement to Paul about pursuing excellence could have been his final gesture of respect, or maybe it was a cryptic message that the baddest man alive still has unfinished business. Whether we're witnessing a conclusion or the start of an even more perilous saga remains to be seen.
The worst thing he's done is he's actually just got AJ quite fired up. AJ's walking off the stage like, let's go. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. I know a lot of people around him didn't want him to take this fight. I would think as well he's absolutely petrified. Like when AJ literally had his fist is twice the size of Jake Paul's. And I'm looking at it thinking, you know, Jake's gonna do really well to just get knocked out kindly. If he shows any ambition, which he might do, he's gonna get knocked clean out. I don't know if they showed it on the stream because they probably didn't want me to talk, but AJ brought me in, he's like, this guy started Jake Paul's professional career and tomorrow night I'm gonna end it. He could literally, in the first 20 seconds of the fight, he could throw a lazy jab and AJ will just counter him over the top with a right hand like he did against Ngannou. The fight's over. Like he will literally have 5 or 6 shots land clean on his chin. It's actually a bit annoying that people think there's a script or it's fixed because it's just ridiculous. I think because it's so wild, people presume we've agreed to take it easy on him. I'm even thinking that. And I know there isn't. I'm looking at it going, will he really go through with it though? What, do you think he might pull out a week before? And now I'm like, we've just weighed in. I'm like, oh my God, it's actually happening tomorrow night. To everybody watching, what the fuck is going on? I gave Jake Paul his pro debut, and tomorrow night AJ might quite possibly give him his last fight.
Today's content ends here. If this entertained you, please hit like, subscribe, and activate notifications to stay updated on our latest content. Also, feel free to share your opinions in the comment area. Keep watching, and we'll see you next time.